Hello everyone, King Ridge here with another Star Citizen tutorial. Today's class is Mining 102. Specifically, we're going to be talking about Quantanium mining, one of the most lucrative forms of mining in the verse to date. Mining Quantanium is dangerous. We'll start with that and get it out of the way. Quantanium itself is very unstable, which means that it is very easy for the power to spike, quickly go into the overcharge, and then explode. Exploding rocks means you lose components, or worse, you lose your ship. Now, Quantanium has a very unique fact about it, and that is when you start scooping it into your cargo hold, a 15-minute timer starts. If you don't have your ship stored in that 15 minutes, your cargo hold will explode, inevitably taking your ship with it. The first thing I want to talk to you about is the loadout. We're going to go ahead and go to our vehicle loadout manager, and we're going to select our prospector here. Now, as far as systems, I have everything stock. You can change these how you want. The only thing I've changed in systems is the quantum drive. I swapped that to a VK00. This is a size 1, grade 1, grade A military drive. It's going to be the fastest drive that you can get currently. However, it's incredibly inefficient for fuel. Because we're not traveling a large distance, the max distance that you can do with this drive is about 20 million kilometers. Not even enough to make it between Hurston and Crusader. But because we're only going to be going between the refinery and our chosen planet, or moon, this will be plenty, but we'll still be moving fast, and speed is key. Under the utility tab, we have the Lancet MH1 mining laser. This is the most important part of solo Quantanium mining. Looking at the stats of the Lancet, we have a power transfer of 1400. Now there are lasers that have a much stronger power transfer, for instance the impact. However, it's the additional bonuses that we want to look at. Instability minus 75%. That means it takes the instability of the rock and reduces it by 75%. Resistance minus 75%, reduces the resistance to your power transfer. Optimal charge window, which is the size of that green window that you want to stay inside, plus 40%, that's huge. All charge rates minus 30%. That does mean that the optimal charge, the green zone, charges 30% slower, but that also means that the overcharge zone, the red zone, charges 30% slower, giving us a little bit of extra time if we creep up into that red zone. Shatter damage, minus 50%. That means if the rock does explode, we will take 50% less damage. Now, that doesn't mean that we'll walk away unscathed or even alive, but there's just that much higher of a chance. And throttle speed, 50%, plus 50%. How quickly your laser reacts to you moving the throttle, which is your scroll wheel, your mining laser power. It has 3 module slots. We'll talk about those in a moment. Now, these bonuses do stack. If you're mining with a friend and they also have a prospector, and you both hit it with a Lancet, these bonuses will stack with each other, making it much easier. Let's talk about the subslots. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about passive modules, which are modules that do not require activation. They just work all the time. And they don't require being replaced after 5 uses. Now, I prefer passive modules just because you don't have to replace them. If you really want to min-max, there are ways that you can use active modules to either make mining the rocks easier or break significantly more difficult rocks, larger rocks, that you wouldn't normally be able to break on your own. But today we're just going to be talking about passive modules. The first one I want to talk about here is the Filter XL module. This lowers your extraction rate by 30%, how quickly you extract the materials from the ready broken rock on the ground to your cargo hold, but that's not really a big deal. The important part is that it removes 20% of any inert materials you scoop. So if you're scooping a rock and it has some inert materials in it, 20% of those inert materials aren't even going to make it into your cargo hold, giving you some more space for the actual stuff that's going to make you some money. The next one here is the Focus 3 module. It lowers the resistance of the rock by 10%, but does raise the instability by 4%. The Lancet inherently comes with minus 75 to both, but Quantanium is very unstable. So, we really want that down. There we go. The Tor 3 module is going to increase your laser power by 4% and instability by 3%. So with these two modules, you have a plus 7% instability, but you have plus 4% laser power and minus 10% resistance. Combining those two features, you're going to be able to crack larger rocks than you normally would without these two. However, it will be 7% more unstable than if you didn't have them. But the Lancet does great work in getting that instability down. We are currently at Arc L1. We're going to head back over to Lyria. Using the technique that I showed in Mining 101, we're going to go find us a Quantanium rock. I'll meet you over there. Okay, we have found a Quantanium rock. This is what Quantanium rocks look like. Kind of an obsidian basalt black with some orangey red ore veins going through. Now, if we're looking at the stats, we see here that it's only 2% Quantanium. That is a very low amount. Ideally, you want over 10%. Now, if we look now, the higher the percentage, the more unstable the rock is going to be. This is a pretty low percent. The mass is just under 5,000. That's what you're going to want to be looking for a solo miner with this setup. A mass under 5,000. Ideally, you want a higher percent. But we're going to go ahead and try and crack this, and then I will see if I can find one more valuable. Notice the size of the optimal zone. Now I'm going to turn on my laser at 0%. And the optimal zone increased in size, and the instability and resistance dropped considerably. We're going to crank up our power. You see the charge level kind of jumping up and down erratically? That is the effects of instability. If you use a stronger laser, especially a laser that increases instability, on a rock that's already highly unstable, the power fluctuations will be significant, enough so that it could jump up to the overcharge and then explode before it comes back down. Making good progress. just about into that optimal zone. Starting to climb. I still have my laser at 100%. Now that we're crossing about halfway through the optimal, I'm going to bring it down. See if it starts going down or up. Looks like we're falling, so I'm going to bring it back up a bit more. Now you can use the lancet to mine other rocks. However, the rocks aren't as valuable as Quantanium. Remember to scan each of the shards. Okay, see this one's only 5%, that shard. Are there any really valuable pieces? This one has no Quantanium, we can ignore that one. A little neat trick. Find yourself in a position where you can see everything. Tap your right shift. This will unlock your mouse from your ship's movement. I can move my mouse around and my ship's not moving. Now I'm going to press the G for gimbal and put it to target. This, if you notice, is now causing my laser head to follow my mouse. So I'm going to point at this rock over here, highlighted yellow. That one's 4%. That one has no Quantanium, we could ignore that. That one has no Quantanium, we could ignore that. And that one has none. It looks like it was all concentrated into these two main pieces. To return to standard ship controls, press your G again to return it to lock, as shown right here, and then tap your right shift again. That will give you your ship controls back. I'm going to go see if I can find us a more difficult, more valuable Quantanium rock. Okay, here we go. This one has a mass of 3,500, but it's 12.62% Quantanium. Notice the size of that optimal charge bar. It's very, very small. But when we apply our lancet, it didn't seem like it grew that much, but it grew by about 40%. But we also lowered the resistance and the instability. Now, this is a smaller rock at 3,500 mass, so we're not going to crank all the way up to 100% right away. We're going to see how it feels. Looks like we're doing okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bring it up. It's going to go fast. Keeping an eye on that charge level. We got to be careful about instability jumps. Bringing it down just a bit. Bringing it down some more as we're starting to get closer, because it's a very narrow target to hit. Just starting to cross into optimal, bringing it down. It's alright if we fall below optimal. Even though we're bringing the laser down, the instability is still keeping it pretty high. Starting to fall rapidly, gonna bring it back up again. Doing alright right now. And there it is. Excellent. Didn't overcharge at all. Ah, what an excellent break. This large section of the rock is 100% inert materials. We can completely ignore that. That one's 22%. Another clean break with no Quantanium. We could ignore that. Ooh, very little optimal zone. 13% Quantanium there. What about on this side? %100% quartz. Awesome. Ideally, you want to find pieces that are 100% Quantanium for optimal cargo space usage. However, this rock was small enough that I think we'll still be able to get it all. Little piece down here. No Quantanium in it. So that means it looks like all of the Quantanium was isolated into 2 pieces. Ooh, there's a little piece down here. See if I can highlight it. There we go. Ah. Looks like some of the Quantanium, ooh, 52% of it ended up down there. Okay, we're gonna need to work our way there. Now remember how I said the Quantanium has a 15-minute timer before it explodes? That's when you start scooping it. So we want to break all the pieces down to scoopable and then start scooping. I'm going to go ahead and angle myself a little better so I can see that charge bar clearly. Okay. Very small piece. Don't need a whole lot of laser power. Bring it down. Crossing into the optimal. Instability is causing it to rise, bringing the laser down more. It's a game of cat and mouse with the unstable rocks. Using that scroll wheel, the Lancet laser does react to throttle very quickly. Almost there. Bring it back up. Excellent. Now all of these rocks now have a purple highlight around them. That means they're able to be scooped. But we're going to continue breaking until everything that we want to extract is ready to go. Can I see that large piece of Quantanium? That 50%er? Looks like it's hidden underneath. This one's 22%, and we do want to break this. So let's see if breaking this will knock some of the other rocks loose. That went up very rapidly. Let's talk about how this is lucrative. Remember how I mentioned that Quantanium is one of the most valuable resources? In Mining 101, oh, look at that. Starting to climb up into the overcharge. We're going to bring that laser down, let it cool down. We want all of the red to go away before the optimal breaks. We don't want any red left in there. I just barely had it. So we should be okay now. As I was saying, in Mining 101, I showed how to refine your materials and then take them to a planet, a major city to be sold. Every unit of refined Quantanium is 88 credits. So if you refine 1,000 units of Quantanium, that's 88,000 credits in profit. Oh, there's the big one right there, 52%. I'm hoping that breaking this rock underneath will cause some of the other rocks to shift, giving us easier access. Otherwise, I'm going to have to break rocks that I don't need to break just to get at it. Climbing fast. This piece has a lot of Quantanium in it, so it's very unstable.
Warning, power critical.
We're okay. Just brought that laser down. Let the charge bar fall.
Power critical.
Having any charge in the overcharge zone, even if you manage to stay alive, avoid the impact, you do lose materials. That will be guaranteed. Okay, excellent. I'm gonna go ahead and start scanning some of these pieces. I think we are ready to begin scooping. So, I'm gonna get me in a position that I think I can see everything I want. I'm going to hit my right shift, hit my G, so now we're moving around. Right click to access extraction mode. And I'm gonna start scanning all of these pieces. Plan out a course for how I want to extract. Quartz, don't need it. Remember, the purple highlight is extractable. That has Quantanium in it. Quartz, don't need it. Quantanium there. No Quantanium there. No Quantanium there. And then these ones. Okay. And we're going to start extracting. As soon as I scoop that first bit of Quantanium, that timer's going to start. Here we go. Notice the Quantanium is red in your cargo hold. Nice big piece of 100% Quantanium there. Let's scoop that up. I believe that may be all the pieces we want to grab. Ah, 93%. We'll scoop that up too. Okay, I think we nabbed all the Quantanium out of this rock. The reason Lyria is so desirable for mining Quantanium is because of the fact that Lyria can spawn multiple Quantanium rocks next to each other. That means that you could break all of the rocks around, find the best oh, I saw a piece there. Find the best extractable pieces of Quantanium, scoop them all, and then leave with a full cargo hold. There's that timer. 13 minutes left. It's time to get out of here. Return our control. Lock our mining laser. And we're quickly going to head back to Arkel 1. Another reason why I like mining on the light side of the planet besides visibility is the fact that Arkel 1 will always be towards the sun. I'm going to set our route. Very quickly leave. And I will see you at the station. While we're traveling, I just remembered one thing. If you start running out of time, up here, volatile cargo will start flashing. Yellow, red, etc. When it starts getting close, this button will activate and you can press it to jettison the cargo. Now you will lose all of your ore, but you will survive with your ship intact. Okay, we have just landed at Arkel 1. Even though you're landed, the cargo is still volatile. We're going to call the elevator quickly. Head to the lobby. Head to the ASOP terminal.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
And store the prospector. Excellent. Now we are going to run to the elevator. Head down to the refinery. And we are going to go to that same refinery terminal that I showed in Mining 101. Hustle, legs. Fast as you can. Up the stairs. To the refinement center.
Hey, back again, I see. Welcome.
All right. Choose our
See anything you
prospector.
like?
We are just going to mine the Quantanium. The other materials aren't even worth it. Let's see, how long is Dynex going to take? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and use the Ferron exchange. You really want to use either the Ferron or Dynex because they give you the highest yield. The only difference is Ferron will cost a bit more, but be significantly faster. Now, if you're setting up a bunch of work orders, you're not going to be ready to sell till tomorrow, and you just want to really crank out a bunch of work orders, just mine tonight, maybe we can sell tomorrow, then definitely do the Dynex. But if you want the most fast cash, Ferron's going to be the way to go. For the 727 units that I got, I will get a yield of 690 in 4 hours. I'm going to go ahead and take that. Alright, and the Quantanium is being refined. Once that's done, just load it into a cargo ship, take it over to Area 18, and sell it for 88 credits per unit. So, just that one rock netted us, oh, what is that? Doing math in my head is hard. 40-ish thousand credits, and that wasn't an optimal rock. There are rocks or group of rocks where you can get a full load of 100% Quantanium is 3,200 units, netting you about 2,900 units of yield using the max yield refinement. You can net anywhere from 150 to 200,000 credits per run using this method. So thank you all for joining me today for Mining 102. This has been your intro to Quantanium mining. Well, I suppose it's a full course in Quantanium mining. Check out different mining attachments, the modules that attach to your Lancet laserhead. Maybe you find something that works best for you. Um, you might be interested in trying to take on the tougher rocks using active modules. I haven't used those myself, but I've heard great success stories with those. Thanks again for being here, and I hope to see you out in the verse.